Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly My Dress Up Darling discussion videos. Today I am joined, as always, by the wonderful, star-tacular Stella Luna.
Hi.
You might also notice that it's a slightly different background. There's no B-roll. This is likely how videos are going to look in the future. This is just a taste. You're going to get your usual screenshots, but for reasons that you might have heard about, I'm going to be kind of phasing out screenshots moving forward because Japan be scary and be suing AnyTubers, and I don't want to get sued.
You also don't have the money for it, so...
Yeah, exactly. I'm a broke puppet boy. I don't got the money for that.
Ain't nobody got money for that.
Ain't nobody got money for that. So this is what it'll look like in the future. These videos are typically more podcasty anyway, so in the future, screenshots will be phased out. This is just sort of like showing you what it will look like for the whole video, but not yet. This will be next season. I'll start pushing that out. Also, you got a gold star. Boom, gold star. So fancy, gold star, yay! If you want your next one though, 200 likes before next video. You think they can do it?
Yeah, I think so. If you guys don't do it, then there will be consequences.
Consequences for your actions.
Consequences for your actions. I'll be hitting a devious lick to your house here soon. I mean, what?
A devious... That is an old... Anyway, My Dress Up Darling, episode 8. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Thoughts.
Okay, well, first, let's talk about the first, half of it.
Yeah.
Juju's sister, I already forgot what her name is, though. Super cute. I love her.
She's
great.
I
already love her.
She's
great.
fantastic.
She's so
I like
cute.
her. Yeah, she's super great.
See, okay, it's so funny because she reminds me of me back when I was in middle school.
Really?
Yeah, she does. She actually reminds me a lot of me in middle school. It's like looking at Marin and her. I'm like, this is past me and present me. Wow.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, they're both applicable to me. I was a lot shyer when I was younger, so like in middle school and stuff like that. Too afraid to express myself the way I wanted to. Not anymore. I don't care. But like she was super cute, and like, you know, her knowledge on photography was awesome. And even knowing that it wasn't Juju who decided to make the social media accounts, it was her sister.
That was a really cool moment. I was really impressed by that. I also kind of related to her. We were both kind of relating to her at times, because when the sister's like, there was so many comments and I got scared, so I just didn't reply. Right? I'm like, oh, that's such a mood. Like when
it is such a mood. When
you get a certain amount of comments, your brain's just like, it does not compute, and you just like drop your phone. You just can't look at it anymore. So I definitely related to that. I understand that worry and that concern. I did like her a lot more than... I think her introduction is a lot better than Juju's, right?
I agree. I would agree. She's so wholesome, so sweet. I'm like, here's a sweet little cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Like so cute, so cute. And like the fact that like she really wanted to help out her sister by, you know, like taking her photos and doing social media stuff. And I thought that was like absolutely so adorable. So adorable.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was like super, super cute.
Yeah.
And I liked how much she was like, how knowledgeable she was on cameras. Like that her big expertise when it comes to cosplay is like how to market yourself as a cosplayer and how to take good photos. Like everything she was talking about in terms of like DSLRs, I was like, oh shit, like I learned about that in school when I was taking TV broadcasting. I was like, I know what she's talking about. Not everything, mind you, because I wasn't like into photography like that, but you do have to like learn some of it. So I was like, I actually do know what she's talking about, just not everything.
You went to school though?
No.
No,
I made that up.
No, you made that up. Okay.
Yeah.
If you said yes, then you know I'd be like, I don't believe it. But you know you said no, so I definitely believe that.
Anyway. Anyway, very funny, very funny.
I know I'm hilarious. I know I'm hilarious. Anyways,
you are
continue.
So funny. What I was gonna say before I was so rudely interrupted
That's really interrupted.
Is I think that it's really interesting the way that Gojo's sister reacted to Marin saying you should cosplay.
Yeah.
That was weird because I was like, I caught like a vibe from that where I'm like, she seems very like she wants to, but she's nervous.
Yep. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna throw this out here.
Mm-hmm.
I think she doesn't feel comfortable cosplaying. Maybe because either A, she feels like she's in the shadow of her sister, or B, her height.
Her height.
Her height.
A thing.
Her height. Like she's too tall to cosplay
the character she wants to cosplay.
Yep. Because like when you think about it, right? Juju is so focused on being a character that fits her body type, her height, like perfectly cosplaying the character, like being IRL versions, and a lot of cosplayers feel that way. I felt that way for a long time, and like I'm really tall because I'm 6 foot, and that's why I think that might be what's holding her back. Because as someone who is a tall woman, a very, very large stature, much larger than Mr. Underhill over here.
Oh.
Joking.
You taking pot shots now?
Yeah, always. Like it does, like as a young girl, it can like weigh on you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like like you're like, oh well, I'm too tall to cosplay this character. I'm too tall to be this character. I'm too tall for this and that, and I can understand that. For a long time, I felt that way too. And like when I would cosplay in groups with friends, like I was always just given like the tall one, or like the sexy character, right? And while I do like a lot of them, and I do enjoy like the characters I did cosplay, there were still characters I really wanted to cosplay, like that were not within my body type, within my height. I've like cosplayed like Ichigo from Tokyo Mew Mew, who is like short. Sailor Moon, who is, I believe, the shortest out of all of the Senshi aside from like Chibiusa and like Saturn. She is like the shortest out of the main 5. Like she's like canonically like 4'11" or 5 foot or something like that, right? I've cosplayed Miku. Miku's tiny as well, but like to me, it might be her height that is stopping her from cosplaying.
That could be it. There was a lot of like good like stuff with the sisters this week, because even Juju, right? Like I guess we could start talking about Juju now, because like she was great this week. Like we were both saying throughout the episode, well, the first half of the episode, up until a certain scene, we were both like, she's really great. Like I don't hate her, like she's really fun. I really like her, right? She's cool. Like I liked that she was scared to go into the big spooky building, which I thought was a word that I can't say or I'll get demonetized. Den, to which Stella was like, "Dude, it's a hospital." Like, I was like,
it's a hospital.
Yeah, because I thought it was. I was like, they're gonna run into a C-word head. Like I don't know if I could say the particular drug without getting demonetized.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about that the stuff that Nagisa brought to the abandoned swim house.
Yeah, sure, because 50% off is so great. 50%.
But look, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it did not look like salt. Okay, he put it in a little thing.
We're not here to talk about free. We can talk about free another day.
Okay, shut up. Okay, fine. Okay, they walked into a KFC, whatever.
They walked into a KFC. They walked into a KFP. They didn't see Kiara. I was very sad. And that totally happened. You can't tell us otherwise. And it was spoopy in there. And even though Juju was scared, she still went in anyway. Which I was like, big kudos to her, because that is scary to do something like where you are petrified of doing it, but you still do it anyway, mostly out of spite. But I liked the scene where she asked Gojo like what his dream is, and she's like, "That's cool. You should chase that." Right? Mine was to be a magical girl, which obviously not real, can't do that. Except for all the magical girl VTubers who exist, but you know,
It's chill.
you know, but for her, it was like she knows she can't do that, so the next closest thing she could do was cosplaying, right? And Stella got a wee bit emotional.
I did get a wee bit emotional.
It's okay, so did
Because
I.
like I remember growing up as a small child, and watching Sailor Moon on the TV back in like the 90s, and like really wanting to be like Sailor Moon. Like I was like, oh my god, I want to be like Sailor Moon. That and a Pokemon master. Those were both occupations I wanted as a child. But as I got older, like, you realize, like, oh, you can't be a magical girl. You can't be a superhero. You can't be a Pokemon master, right?
Yeah.
And you get into, you figure out, like, cosplay. Like, I remember being 13 and, not 13, I was probably a little younger than that, like 12, right? And I had just finished watching all 200 episodes of Sailor Moon on YouTube in 3 parts per episode. If you know, you know. The days. Yeah. And I then remember getting onto eBay and looking up Sailor Moon costume. I don't know, or cosplay, because I just kind of like learned about cosplay. And I remember looking on eBay at all these beautiful stolen photos of cosplay.
Yeah.
They're all stolen because they're all coming from China and they're all stolen photos. But I just remember going, oh my god, I want to wear that. I want to do that. Like I want to be that. Right? I wanted to cosplay so bad when I was like 12. And I grew up in a small town. We didn't have a lot of money. So like I never got to cosplay. And it wasn't until like I hit my 20s where I first cosplay. Like I cosplayed, my very first cosplay was Princess Serenity from Sailor Moon. And I made that cosplay all myself. But like even though it was the worst, it was so bad. The cosplay was it did not fit very well, and there was no boning in it. Like the stitching was bad. It was like hot glued together in places. I put that cosplay on for the very first time, and I like was very emotional. The very same way that Juju, when she bought that magical girl cosplay from the store, and she put it on, and it was horrible. It was too big on her. But she looked at herself in the mirror, and she was so happy. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that made me very like emotional because it was something like I felt very connected to, and I was like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, for me, it was like that scene like made me really appreciate Juju as a character, right? Because I'm like, okay, I really respect Juju a lot. Well, even finding out that she really only cosplays because she likes doing it. Like she doesn't even run the account. Like I was like, she's really cool. For me, it was the scene with Gramps that really got me like emotional, because I got like really misty-eyed when we see like the scene that we usually see, right, where he's like, oh sugoi, right, like looking at like the painting, the dolls, right, and he's like blown away by them, and he calls them beautiful. And then, but it was the fact that we get to see the rest of it, where he tells Gramps like, I want to be just like you. And you see like Gramps like look at him and smile, then laugh, and he's like, really, right? Like, and for some reason, like when he's just like, yeah, you're great, and blah blah blah, and Gramps, you could tell like was touched by that.
Yeah. That
got me a little bit. I was like, oh, like I was like, that's so sweet. Everything with Gramps gets me every time. Just makes me emotional. But then this is where we have some negatives to talk about.
Now we're gonna preference like still love Dress Up Darling, but I think if you guys really paid attention to mostly the animation and the art style of the episode,
because the contents of the episode was great. I loved like the whole thing. Story-wise, everything was. I didn't like Juju falling for Gojo. That I didn't like too much, but I was like, well, it's fine, right? Like I was like, that's fine.
I do hope that it just stays kind of like a little bit of a crush, but I worry because Juju did point out that she was jealous of Marin.
Yeah.
Already about like the cosplay stuff. So to me, if Marin has Gojo, because there's no way Gojo is going to end up with anyone but Marin.
Yeah, 100%. Like
we're too far into this. There's no, like, even if you throw somebody else in, like, how it's going to end.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like there's no point in it. of like this love triangle when we're so far in like that with their relationship.
Yeah, and he's so like he's set on her, she's set on him. They just neither person knows it yet, so that's why there's still sort of this like game of cat and mouse, right? Yep. Like throwing Juju in there to me is just sort of stock anime nonsense where I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Like it could actually end up like servicing her character, like if she learns that like she loves Gojo's work, she doesn't love him. Right?
Yeah,
like,
and it's just the first
she appreciates
boy
him.
She's interacted with, you know?
Exactly, yeah, because they do stress, like, she's from an all-girls school, she doesn't really interact with boys that much, so, like, her falling for and plus Gojo's a great guy, so, like, her falling for him isn't, like, surprising or anything, it's just, I don't like that turn, right? Like, it makes sense, like, within narrative, I personally just don't like that decision, but I recognize that it makes sense. I recognize that the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I have elected to ignore it. That's where I stand. But the art and animation, though.
Okay, so JoJo had pointed out when that lightning struck that green lightning, that's when they replaced the entire animation studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cloverworks just disappeared. We got a different studio. We're not. By the way, we're not saying that this is fact. Like we're just like we didn't look into like anything episode wise because I know that there's a lot of good resources online. Like Sakugaboru and like there's guys like Anime AJ and stuff like that who are like very versed in like animation and can tell you about like the staff working on the show and stuff like that. I wish I was that. I'm not that like well knowledgeable on like that side of the anime industry, so there's a lot that I don't know. So when we say like it struck and Cloverworks disappeared and it was replaced by another studio, which like I swear to God, right? But like it's not like we're joking. Just before anybody is like, really, did that happen? No, I don't know if that happened.
No, we don't know that.
It could have been. It could have been outsourced. Yeah, we're just making a joke. It could have been outsourced, right? Like my theory is that it's one of two things. It either was an outsourced episode, which happens. There's a lot of episodes of like say Haikyuu that got outsourced.
Sailor Moon Crystal episode 3.
Yeah, Sailor Moon Crystal episode 3, right? There's a lot of stuff that gets outsourced, right? A lot of early Dragon Ball Super was outsourced. Now, these are all bad examples of outsourcing, but there is good examples of outsourcing as well. Nothing's really popping to mind right now. But there are episodes of shows that you might really love that had animation that looked a little different that was likely outsourced to a different studio because, you know, time crunches, right? You don't always have the time to work on every single episode before it gets released. But the other thing it could be is a directorial decision, which is like maybe not the chief director, like the guy in charge of the whole thing, but maybe a specific episode director, which does happen from time to time. The most like an example. Moon, yeah, go ahead.
Sailor Moon's a great example of that because if you watch Sailor Moon, like the original, we're talking like OG, you can tell like between episodes, like an important episode versus kind of like a filler, you know, monster of the day kind of episode, the different directors, right? Because like sometimes Sailor Moon has like, especially in the OG like first season, like second season, their faces are a lot more rounder in some episodes where they're like kind of like they look kind of like a little chubby, and then some like they're nicely like, you know, sharp and the features are very much more sharper and more look like what you see when you think of Sailor Moon, when you think of like the box art or like the promotional art as well. So it could be just an episode director type thing.
Yeah, because that I think the last time I remember something like this jarringly different was a particular episode of Dororo, where they introduced a episode director who is known for making episodes that are like very jarring. For all I know, it's the same guy. But like it could be. But like it's not like a bad thing. And I will say that like I don't think the art is in any way bad. It's just very different. Right? So the fact that we're on episode 8 and we get used to one particular art style, to have moments where that art style shifts is one thing, but to have entire scenes, like the whole beach scene is like very washed out, the line art's different.
Even before that, like right after the lightning scene and Gojo's goes to grab Juju's hand.
She looks totally different. She looks like a Danganronpa character.
She looks different. The line art is so thick.
It's
Like,
thick.
it's
The
very,
shadows are like pitch black. Like
like if you take a screenshot, which I'm gonna assume you're gonna put a screenshot right here just to show what we're talking about.
oh yeah,
like,
there'll be screenshots throughout this episode.
like
This
yeah,
next season will
obviously.
change. Yeah.
Well, obviously, but I'm just
Yeah.
putting it right here so you know that this is the part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you look at her hand, like you look at like just JoJo. Like, if you were to show me this screenshot and be like, this is from Dress Up Darling, I would be like, no, it's not. This looks like a redrawn like screenshot of Dress Up Darling, right? Because to me, it didn't really look like the rest of the show.
Yeah, it was jarring. Like, the beach looked a little closer to Dress Up Darling, but like even then, like the line art was like really thin. Gojo's hair and face looked very different. Like, Marin looked kind of similar, but a little different. Like, everybody was washed out. There was like very little use of music in the beach scene, so a lot of scenes felt like very awkward.
Well,
right?
And it was washed out because at first I was like, oh, is it kind of washed out because like they're at the beach, and like when you go to the beach sometimes, like you've never been to the ocean either. Yeah, you sit there and talk about how Gojo's never been to the ocean, but boy, you also have never been to the ocean.
Look, man. There's no beaches like this far north, okay?
Okay.
I'm a puppet boy. My stitches will fall apart.
As somebody who grew up next to the beach, sometimes you go to the beach and it's washed out because like literally the sun, right? The sun hits the sand and the sand reflects light, and so everything's really bright and it's really hot. But for some reason in this episode, it felt like it was cold. I don't know why. Like, it was like the way the beach, just this whole scene, like looked really cold.
Well,
it doesn't make sense that it's washed out too.
Well, because at first I was like, well, maybe they're going to the beach because they're like, we just finished exams. Like, maybe it's still cold out.
Yeah.
But Marin specifically says it's July.
Yeah.
Right? Does she say July? Like, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm like gaslighting myself, I'm almost positive she says like July or June or something.
I don't think she meant July as in it's July right now. I think she was like talking about like, this is like an anime, you know, it's like, oh, we just got done with our midterms and now it's July.
Oh,
and so we're heading to the beach. So I don't think it was actually July.
So it's just that it was cold at the beach.
Yeah, it was just kind of like cold at the beach because she specifically says like, hey, like there's nobody here, right?
Yeah,
and
which wouldn't make sense if it's July.
If it's July, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, like everything was washed out about like that whole scene. Like the interactions were very cute and they were very fun. Yeah. But I feel like narratively going into this scene made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Like if Marin was like, I wanted to check out the beach for some photo shoot stuff, right? Like that would make sense. But Gojo asked that and she's like, no, I just kind of wanted to come here.
I guess the explanation is that like, well, Marin's a free spirit, right? Yeah. She just felt like going to the beach because she's Marin, right? Like she just kind of does whatever.
Yeah.
But like, even still, even I was like, even knowing that, I was like, that's kind of convenient. You know, I was like, that's a little convenient.
Felt very convenient, right?
Yeah.
And now, like towards the end of the scene, right? She suggests like, oh, let's go to the beach. Let's hang out.
Let's go everywhere together.
Yeah, it's just
the
two of us.
Yeah.
So that makes sense into the lead up for like whatever arc we're gonna go with on that.
Yeah, like a summer vacation arc.
Like a summer, yeah. But like the going into it felt very off and weird. Not to mention, there was parts of it where Marin's eyes were just huge. And like, she has big eyes. Like, because anime has big eyes.
But they were like, I just crazy
big. Yeah, like crazy big. I was like, that looks off. Like not that it looked bad, but like it looked off from like what we're used to seeing from the original like.
Well, it's funny because they put a flashback of a younger Gojo painting faces onto like cloth, right? To try to get used to it. And it's the regular art style. Yeah. Right? So I was like, that is very weird. It's very
weird.
It's a very weird decision. Yeah.
Oh, and then the whole
not bad,
part,
just weird.
The part where Marin goes into the water, right? She's like in the water, she's playing, have the panty shot, of course. But that's not the part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Gojo walking to the water. Yeah. And he's like going down like the little kind of hill that you usually see on the beach, whatever. Was very weird. This was like hill, but he was going to, to the water. It was really weird because it looked like the background was like a real photo. And then
It felt
he was
like just an edited photo. Yeah, like a real photo that was like edited. Like, you know, like in visual novels where they make it look like it's like a painting, but it's like really obviously just a photo that's been put through Photoshop.
Kind of like Amnesia.
Yeah, like Amnesia or like
Amnesia.
Katawa Shoujo or something. Yeah, like definitely like that. Where I'm like, it just, again, I don't think it was bad in terms of either directorial decision or in like animation director or like something. Just it was inconsistent and odd. It's really gonna come down to, this is like much like most art, it's really gonna be personal preference. It didn't vibe with us, right? I think because we got so used to the other art style.
If we saw stuff like this throughout the episodes, it would have not been a shock. We would have not had problems with it. And I don't really have necessarily a problem with it. It was just odd.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. It's a little weird.
It threw me off. But again, the whole beach scene was really cute. Between Marin and Gojo, like the part where the bird swoops in and takes her burger.
That was so funny. God. Yeah. And then
I wish it was a seagull. I'm not gonna lie. Seagulls are assholes.
I also love the like we're at the beach, we're at the beach to get photos, right? Huh? Yes. Like that's very them. Like again, like in terms of like a lot of the like narrative and like characters and stuff, like everything was like on point. It was just some like art and animation stuff that we were both like, that's weird, right? Like but yeah, like definitely didn't like hate this episode or anything. Like I actually really liked this episode. It was just I thought, I was like, that's interesting, we should talk about that. Yeah, because I was like, that's different. It's weird.
That was really different. Yeah. That was very, very strange. But you know what we're getting actual summer episode.
Yeah.
And which I'm pretty excited about.
Me too. It was a good episode. We got a wee bit emotional, you know. We got some weird art stuff that, you know, made the video padded out, so we got to talk about that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
What were you gonna say though?
You said I love beach. I was gonna say I actually love beach episodes.
Do you?
I do love beach episodes.
Nice. You can't go wrong with a beach episode. Unless you're My Hero and you put in the middle of your epic story. I say that as My Hero fan. They literally, in the middle of like this most recent thing, like just instead of focusing on the Shigaraki fight, they're like, let's have a beach episode. Anyway, I'm talking about My Hero now.
I don't. Yeah, I was like, I don't like that. Anyways, yeah. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about this episode?
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Oh, you think that's everything? Okay. Well, I guess it is time to wrap up, and then for you to move on to Attack on Titan.
Yay, Titan.
Yay, Titan.
Let's go.
I'm almost caught up with.
Almost. You can almost join me. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's so funny to say yay, Titan, because on the inside I'm like, Titan. My emotions.
We love Paradise. Paradise nuts. Sorry.
Leaving. And there you have it, everybody. That is going to wrap it up for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AnyTube know that you are here. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our Discord so that you can actually be notified when new videos go up. And of course, you'll also be notified when we're streaming over on the other website that starts with a D. On top of being the best way to get notified for new videos, it's also a good place to discuss with fellow anime fans and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and join us over on the Discord, link down in the description. Also linked to the description is our Patreon page, and that, along with the join button right beside the sub button, are great ways to help keep this channel afloat. You will find our Patreon page for as little as $1. You can help keep this channel running. And of course, a big thank you I have to give to our masters of masters, the true legends, Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for being so freaking cool. I really love and appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support of this channel. And if you too would like to have your name shouted out at the end of videos, once again, go check out that Patreon link in the description or hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out a ton. And that's it for me. So until next time, clean your room, just trust me, a clean room is a clean mind. Maybe do some Tai Chi. Maybe drink lots of water and brush your teeth. And, yeah, have a good day. Bye.